Due to the fact that Joe Biden's magical pen think that the Constitution, your Bill of Rights, is up to his interpretation, and the fact that he wants to erode freedom one executive order at a time, and not only that, my personal favorite, almost every promise he made on the campaign trail, he has had to come out and say that his administration will not be doing that, like his community over policing, his border policy. He said he stopped the construction on the wall. Now he wants to fill in the gaps on the wall. Now there's this growing surge of people on both left and right alike calling for Joe Biden's impeachment. This is going to be one of those where I upset everybody on both sides of the argument. People on the right would rejoice. People on the left would, outside of the ones who now have buyer's remorse, would be very upset and stating that it could not happen and saying that there's no grounds. Well, according to Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, she filed this document right here. House Resolution 57, filed on January 21st, 2021, exactly one day after he was inaugurated. Resolution impeaching Joseph R. Biden, President of the United States, for abuse of power by enabling bribery and other high crimes and misdemeanors. This is why they moved to remove Miss Greene. This is why they moved to get her out of office. It has nothing to do with what she said to a Parkland victim or anything to do with the fact that she was saying that wildfires being started by space lasers and whatnot. She might be a little bit crazy. I'll give you that. But that had nothing to do with it. It had everything to do with this. Because every politician who has stood against Joe Biden or stood against the result of the 2020 election, there have been calls for them to resign, calls to have them removed. Don't fall for the bait and switch. Now, what they allege in these documents is that he enabled his son to bribe politicians and world leaders and make policy so that he and his son could become millionaires. That's not all I have. I have the impeachment papers. I have the contents, and yes, the contents of his son's laptop. No, I will not be. The only thing I'll be discussing is what could be tied to his father. Nothing on the sort of his other activities. Their business dealings in Ukraine. And last but not least, their business dealings in Burisma. Now, I'm not going to bore you and read through every scratch of this, because this video would go on forever. And let's face it, not many people are going to sit there through the whole thing. So I'm going to make it as short and sweet as I can. What they allege here, let's just skip over the nonsense. Let me get to the part. Aha. Right here. In the office of Vice President, enabling bribery and other high crimes and misdemeanors by allowing his son to influence the domestic policy of a foreign nation and accept variations of benefits, including financial compensation from federal nationals in exchange for certain favors. The senior Obama administration official overseeing anti-corruption efforts in the Ukraine, hence any illegal activity involving corruption. So Joe Biden, he was the head of the whole anti-corruption committee himself. If anybody could get away with it or make it seem legit, it was him. Corruption conducted by Hunter Biden within or in relation to Ukraine would fall under the purview of the office of Vice President Biden and the Obama State Department's anti-corruption efforts. In fact, many State Department officials within the Obama administration repeatedly registered reservations about Hunter Biden's role on the board of a corrupt company. Thus, any instances of corruption on behalf of Hunter Biden via his role as a board member of the Ukrainian-operated Burisma energy firm. Evidence of widespread knowledge, corruption, and collusion on behalf of the Biden family within foreign nationals is clear and compelling. The Vice President's office and State Department officials were aware but ignored concerns relating to Hunter Biden's role on the board of Ukrainian-based natural gas company Burisma. Hunter Biden and his financial transactions with Ukrainian, Russian, it starts with a K, Kazakhstan, whatever, and Chinese nationalists raised criminal concerns and extortion threats. George Kent raised concerns to officials in Vice President Joe Biden's office about the precipitation of a conflict in interest with respect to Hunter Biden's role on Burisma's board. Kent's concerns went unaddressed in September 2016. He emphasized in an email to his colleagues, furthermore, the presence of Hunter Biden on the Burisma board is very awkward for all U.S. officials pushing anti-corruption agenda in the Ukraine. In October 2015, senior State Department official, if I butcher his name, I apologize, Amos Hagestein, raised concerns with Vice President as well as Hunter Biden that Hunter Biden's position on Burisma's board enabled Russian disinformation efforts and risked undermining U.S. policy in the Ukraine. Vice President Biden did not resolve this conflict of interest. Instead, he enabled it. Not good. In addition, over $4 million paid by Burisma for Hunter Biden's board membership. Hunter Biden and his family received millions of dollars from foreign nationals with questionable backgrounds. Specifically, the ongoing FBI investigation into Hunter Biden's laptop revealed that Hunter Biden received a 2.8 carat diamond from a high-ranking Chinese official in 2017. Hunter Biden told the New York Magazine that he felt uncomfortable receiving the diamond and gave it to other associates. Like, try to, pass the blame off. Hunter Biden had business associations with I can't pronounce that particular individual's name, and I'm not going to attempt to. Founder of the CEFC China Energy Company, Liu and Doug and other Chinese nationalists linked the Communist government and other People's Liberation Army. And the People's Liberation Army. Those associations result in millions of dollars in cash flow that existed in a vast web of corporate connections that financial transactions between and among the Biden family and Chinese nationalists. Hunter Biden paid non-resident women who were nationalists of Russia and Eastern Europe countries who appeared to be linked in Eastern European prostitution and human trafficking ring. On that alone, I don't know how in the world you can tie Joe Biden to that, but if you can tie Hunter Biden to that and he is guilty, he deserves whatever he gets. In 2016, Ukraine's top corruption prosecutor, Viktor Shakoskin, had an active and ongoing investigation into Burisma and its owner. Here comes quid pro quo Joe right there, daddy to the rescue. Owner, I can't pronounce that individual's name, I'm sorry. At the time, Hunter Biden continued to serve on Burisma's board of directors, according to news reports. Then Vice President, here comes the quid pro quo, ladies and gentlemen, threatened to withhold $1 billion in United States loan guarantees if Ukraine's leaders did not dismiss Shokin after the Ukraine's parliament fired Shokin. There's the clip of this is online. It is on YouTube. I tried posting it to my social medias during the original impeachment trial of Trump when they wanted to accuse him of quid pro quo with Ukraine, and it went nowhere. Hunter Biden received millions of dollars from foreign sources as a result of business relationships that built during the period when his father was vice president of the United States, and after the financial transactions which Hunter engaged in illustrate serious counterintelligence and extortion concerns relating Hunter Biden and his family. Seems to me like possibly foreign governments might have a say in how certain world leaders conduct business. Hunter Biden's work with Chinese nationals connected to the communist regime illustrated the deep financial connections and accelerated while his father was vice president. After he left office, Sean Collum, a business associate of Hunter Biden, suggested that a $10 billion deal could be struck in exchange for certain persons meeting Vice President Biden. This shows deliberate pay-for-play and quid pro quo. The email in full to Robert Biden from Sean Collum as follows. And they have the email word for word right here. So we have an agreement letter if they get another 10 bonds. They have a face value of $10 billion. While it is far-fetched, Devin Archer said he talked to his professor and these get traded. We get 10% in fees. 10% of $10 billion would be $1 billion, ladies and gentlemen. Or at least I think that is what it would be. We need to get these guys to an event or something where they get to just formally meet your dad. For the following on, they can talk to Chief of Staff. Let me know how soon we can do that. V-brief, if not get done, we get more bonds to move. Regards, your working partner, Postum Sean, and whatever. Emails between Hunter Biden and his cousin reveal that the president of Hunter's Chinese Communist Party linked firm, Eric Schwinn, whatever it is, repeatedly asked Hunter for an appointment to the Commission for the Preservation of America's Heritage Abroad, a position he ultimately received. The email from Hunter to his cousin Missy regarding the request for appointment of the commission is follows. Eric asked for one of these the day of the election in 2008. You know better than me what are real interesting appointments. Let's go through the list and Steve and see what makes sense. I don't know how much 2016 and nepotism plays into it. In all of this, President Biden gravely endangered the security of the United States and its institutions of government. Though blatant nepotism, he enabled his son to influence foreign policy and financially benefit as a result of his role as vice president. He supported his son engaging in collusion. There's that magical word, collusion, with the Chinese Communist Party. Links to his officials, he allowed his son to trade appointments with his father and high-ranking administration officials in exchange for financial compensation. He permitted his son to take money from Russian oligarchs, including Elena, I cannot pronounce her last name. It starts with a B. The wife of former mayor of Moscow. In doing so, Joseph R. Biden threatened the integrity of the domestic system, interference with the peaceful transition of power. Imperial imperiled and coordinate a bunch of government. He thereby betrayed his trust as former vice president and current president to the manifest injury of the people of the United States. Wherefore, President Biden, by such conduct, has demonstrated he will remain a threat to national security, democracy, and Constitution. If allowed to remain in office, and has acted in a manner grossly incompatible with self-governance and the rule of law. President Biden thus warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, and profit under the United States. This is not made up. Now, this is not made up. It's not. Most of it is laid out here. And these documents, which is printed transcripts of what was in, or what I was able to get of what was inside his son's laptop. Now, the only thing, I do not see them being able to impeach him upon his business dealings with his son, with allowing his with moving policy around so that his son could profit. Because once they do that, the floodgates could be opened, and every politician's dirty laundry and dirty secrets will be out there. So I don't think they're going to impeach him on that. What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to prove beyond shadow of a doubt what this evidence implies between the laptop, their dealings with Ukraine and Burisma, is that Joe Biden himself violated the Logan Act, which is an impeachable offense. But they would have to prove beyond shadow of a doubt that he did so, to a point that to a point that the media and his fellow colleagues in government cannot cover for him. I do not think they can impeach him for what he did to help his son make money. Is it dirty? Yeah. Oh, it's dirty. There's a lot more than just that in these documents, but I'm not going to talk about that. That goes into what his son, not only their business dealings, but his son's personal vices, and I'm not here to judge for that. What I will say is that none of this could take place or even remotely happen until after midterms. We would need to regain majority in the Senate and flip the House of Representatives in order to make this happen. Do I think there's enough grounds to impeach? No. That is exactly why both impeachments of Donald Trump did not happen. There was not enough evidence to sway the votes, or sway enough votes in the way that they needed to make it happen. Even though tried to use this to impeach him once, and his so-called quid pro quo with Ukraine, which we have documented proof right here that Joe Biden himself committed. I don't know. You can take this for what you will. Like I said, they're going to have to prove beyond shadow of a doubt that he violated the Logan Act if they want any hope of getting him out of office. And not only that, we would have to flip the House of Representatives to be Republican controlled and regain majority in the Senate for Republican control in the midterm elections. So I'm going to say this. If you feel like Joe Biden should be impeached for any reason, then you need to get out there and vote in midterms in 22. Don't be complacent. Don't make the mistake that a lot of Trump supporters did in 2018. A lot of them made the mistake and got complacent, and then the Democrats gained more control. Immediately what happened after that? They tried to impeach the president. He is the only president that has faced 2 impeachments, and he's beat both. Now, whether or not he will be a 2-term president, that is yet to be seen. But it seems to me like everything that you accuse Trump of doing, we have documented proof that Biden was doing it. Was doing that. Exactly what you accused Trump of doing. Exactly what you attempted to impeach him on. But what do I know? I'm not in government. Well, at least not yet anyway. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this. When the corrupt Biden administration continues to erode your freedom away and continues to profit and make a profit off of your back, remember, it's what you voted for.